Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. We've got a great announcement for you here this morning. It's a great day. The sun's trying to peek out from behind the clouds, but another important announcement. Before we get to it, I just want to recognize my caucus and cabinet colleagues that are joining me today. I'm, of course, Graydon Smith, the MPP for Parry Sound Muskoka and the Associate Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, joined by George Pirie, the Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth. And without further ado, I'll turn things over to Prabmeet Sarkaria, the Minister of Transportation. Minister, good morning.
Good morning. Well, good morning, and thank you very much, Minister Graydon Smith, for your kind introduction. It's great to be here with so many of my, not only my colleagues, but friends, industry that are represented here. And thank you, Minister Pirie, for also being here as we mark an important step forward in our government's plan to improve Northern road safety, keep workers on the job, and support our world-class mining and tourism sectors. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, we're making historic investments to protect Ontario. We're investing $31 billion to build, repair, and expand highways, roads, and bridges across the province, including widening 152 kilometers of Highway 69 from 2 to 4 lanes between Parry Sound and Sudbury. Highway 69 is a priority project for our government. We are continuously looking for ways to speed up approvals, cut red tape, and remove barriers that stand in the way of getting shovels in the ground faster. And I want to be clear, we will continue to use every tool at our disposal to accelerate this work and get it done as quickly as possible. Today, I'm thrilled to announce that we're taking another critical step forward. We're investing in the relocation of a portion of the CN rail line within the township of Mowat and the municipality of Killarney. Relocating this rail line is an important step in advancing the widening of Highway 69. It will clear the way for construction of a new interchange and Highway 522 and the next phase of widening along the corridor. And this work is a part of a much broader push to accelerate progress on Highway 69. Our government is getting the remaining 68 kilometers along the corridor widened and will split the work into 6 sections, 4 of which will be under heavy construction by the end of next year. This work will improve Northern road safety and traffic flow, keeping workers on the job for years to come while supporting the province's important mining and tourism sectors. Highway 69 is a critical north-south corridor for Northern Ontario. It connects communities and workers, keeps people moving and goods moving. It supports the mining and tourism sectors that drive economic growth across the province. To date, we've already widened 84 kilometers of the 152-kilometer corridor, and that work is making travel safer and more reliable for families, commuters, and workers, while supporting thousands of good-paying jobs. At a time of unprecedented economic uncertainty and unfair U.S. tariffs, our government is building a more competitive, self-reliant, and resilient economy. And that starts with building the infrastructure communities and businesses can rely on in every corner of our province. We're moving Highway 69 forward to keep drivers safe, strengthen the connection between Northern and Southern Ontario, and protect our economy for generations to come. And we're going to continue pushing this critical project forward until the job is done. Thank you, and with that, I will pass it over to Minister Pirie. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure for me to be here again. Oh, I didn't realize that we had a teleprompter. Okay, that's great. It's great to be here today with Minister Sarkaria to highlight another important investment in Northern Ontario's transportation infrastructure. I want to thank the Minister for being here today and for sharing this news. For the people of Sudbury and communities across Northern Ontario, safe and reliable highways are critical. They connect workers to jobs, move goods and services, and keep communities connected. Our government understands how important this is, which is why we continue to invest in northern transportation infrastructure and highway safety. Just last week, we announced more than $1.3 million through the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation to help Shee-Mequon acquire the equipment needed to deliver year-round maintenance services on Highway 69, 522, 529, and 529A. That investment will support the delivery of a 7-year highway maintenance contract that includes snow cleaning, salting, shoulder maintenance, asphalt repairs, and other activities that help keep motorists safe throughout the year. Today's announcement builds on that commitment. Our government recognizes how important this route is and how we will continue to make progress on completing the widening of Highway 69. While that work progresses through engineering, approvals, and property acquisition processes, we are continuing to take practical steps to improve safety and reliability along that corridor. Investments like today's, together with ongoing maintenance and highway improvements, are helping to build a safer, stronger, and more connected Northern Ontario. Thank you very much. I would now like to invite MPP Smith to the podium.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, and I want to personally thank Ministers Sarkaria and Pirie for being here today. I want to thank Premier Ford as well for his guidance and leadership on this important project. The vast majority of the widening of Highway 69 needs to occur in the Parry Sound Muskoka riding, and I have been working with the great people of my riding to make sure that their voices have been heard, that this project is a priority. And our government is listening. The ministers have been listening. And this is a milestone announcement today, not only from an engineering perspective, but really from a moment in time where we are committing to those next steps in a timeline that people can understand. As the minister mentioned, of the 6 sections yet to be done, 4 will be seeing activity in the coming year and a bit. And this important project here to move part of the rail line helps spur the work to get that done. And this highway is a corridor for people, not only so they can reach medical appointments, not only so they can operate their businesses, but so that they can live their day-to-day lives, whether it's from Point of Barrel to Britt to Parry Sound, the folks in Sudbury, the folks at the south end of the highway, they all count on this highway every day. It is an important economic corridor, as you have heard, for Northern Ontario to connect to Southern Ontario. It is a priority project, and again, I want to thank everyone involved for moving this forward. I want to thank CN as well, and all the stakeholders that have been working to get this particular project done that we're talking about today. But we certainly look forward to continuing to work with everybody involved to make this widening a reality, and it's certainly coming into view to do just that. So thank you very much for everyone that's been here today. Again, thank you to Ministers Sarkaria and Pirie and everyone that has been behind this project, and to Premier Ford as well. And now we'll turn it over to Q&A.
We'll now go to questions. If reporters could line up at the microphone behind me, please identify yourselves by name and outlet. And as a reminder, it will be 1 question, 1 follow-up.
Hello, Tyler Clark from Sudbury.com. Thanks for taking my question. You mentioned the only timeline I heard was 4 sections. You're going to start by next year. What about the other 2 sections? And do you have a projection for completion date of this final 68 kilometers? Because I think that's the #1 thing that people are looking for.
Yeah, well, thank you for your question. As I said, first and foremost, obviously this project is a big priority for the government. When we look at the work that we're announcing here today and the 4 sections that I've referenced, this is being done by the learnings from other projects that we have seen across the province. Splitting these projects up into smaller projects will allow completion, so your question on completion time, to be done faster, to be done quicker. It also allows more competition within this stretch to have more people bid on those projects to get them done faster and quicker. We can do contracts like we're seeing right now with the CN realignment before the major contract for the actual construction is also tendered. So what this process has done right now is it has enabled us to move quicker than we do on traditional projects. We're doing that because we want to be innovative. We recognize the concerns from the residents here along the stretch of Highway 69. But I think for us, the most important thing is how do we get a shovel in the ground as quickly as possible, which will then help dictate the timelines on that. So if we can get construction started quickly, which we are showing through this new innovative way that we have put forward on how we will deliver this project, we'll deliver this highway that much faster.
On this being a priority, I know that's been said for several years now from the Progressive Conservatives. As you just stated, there's no clear timeline on completion. So how do you quantify this being a priority for the government?
Well, the most important thing is a project is starting. You're going to get shovels in the ground on a majority of this section almost immediately. The tenders are going to be made public. Many of the people that are here today are going to be some of the ones that are building this project, which is going to be important for this region. You see work being done as you ride along this corridor today as well. So for us, and I think for residents, is to show progress, is to see a shovel in the ground and the sections that are being contemplated, that we are being talked about, to see the work being done to complete that. And that's exactly what we want to do. And I have full faith in our contractors that work on these projects to deliver it efficiently in a way that will be done quickly, because a lot of these contractors and those workers that will be on this job are from the community. They understand the challenges that this network can have, and so they want to be a part of the solution and deliver this project. So the priority of this project is ensuring that we get the shovel in the ground and we show action and that we get the project moving forward.
Hi, my name's Faith Greco. I'm with CBC Sudbury. As Tyler just kind of asked, same kind of vein of question, this has been a huge topic of conversation for many Northern Ontarians, and I'm wondering, what is your response to criticism from everyday residents that this project has taken so long? What explanation would you give folks who are just wondering why this has taken so long to get started?
So there's, look, I understand everyone's frustration. We have the only government in the last, I would say generation that has put this much money towards building infrastructure in this province. $31 billion over the next 10 years is what the Premier Ford and our government will deliver. Every single year, about $600 million of that allocation goes toward Northern Ontario every single year. So we're committed to the north. And Highway 69 is a big part of that project. We've made significant investments into the Ring of Fire. As a part of that entire network, we know the pressure it puts on other communities, whether it's Sudbury, whether it's Timmins, whether it's Thunder Bay. And, working with my partners, both Minister Smith and Pirie, we've taken an approach that supports all of Northern Ontario in delivering these projects. But what I can tell you today is we've looked at how we deliver projects in the past on highways, whether it be in the GTA or other parts of the province, and said, how do we deliver Highway 69 efficiently, but also quickly? And what you see here today is a result of the work by many of our engineers at the Ministry of Transportation, our teams at the industry-led teams that have come to us and given ideas on how we can procure faster, how we can split contracts up to get projects done quicker and faster as well. And so that is, today's announcement, a showcase of that consultation within the community and the greater stakeholders to deliver this project quicker and faster.
And my second question is, will the ongoing tariff, the trade war, impact any current or future road investments and development in Northern Ontario?
So I think for us and for the Premier, who's made it very clear, is this is why we need to become a more self-reliant, a more resilient economy. So why do we want to invest in infrastructure projects like Highway 69, Highway 11, 17, or projects like even Billy Bishop, which help expand access to communities in the north and connect them to the rest of the province? This is why we have taken such an aggressive approach to infrastructure investment in this province. $100 billion on just transportation infrastructure will occur over the next 10 years in the province of Ontario under the leadership of Premier Ford. If we build better roads, if we build bigger, airports, we invest in transit. Not directly here, but not too far away from here is the return of the Northlander is going to be so important for many people in the north as well. So it's a broad approach that we are taking to every part of infrastructure development in this province, because we recognize the need, given the situation in the north, to be stronger, more resilient and self-reliant as a province and as a country.
Hi, Angela Gemmel from CTV Northern Ontario. The provincial government is currently negotiating with the 3 First Nations that are within this area for the widening of Highway 69. Do similar negotiations have to happen with this CN realignment project?
So I think, with the CN realignment project, I think today's announcement is an agreement to be able to move forward on that, which was a big part of this project and allows us to tackle that part of the project much earlier because we're ready. So when we talk about some of the innovation on the procurement that we've done here, is we've been able to parse out this project, move it even further up the timeline, and get shovels in the ground on that quicker and faster, so we can focus on the remaining parts of the Highway 69 project as well. So CN has worked very well with us on this. We've come to an agreement on this. They're in final stages of getting ready to start that part of the process.
And also, could you give us a status on those negotiations with the 3 First Nations for the widening of Highway 69?
Thank you. Yeah, just, continuation of those negotiations are something that is happening in real time. Our teams are reaching out to each individual chief, their teams. We recognize that each of those negotiations is independent of each other, and so we will continue to engage in those conversations, but very positive moving forward. And I'm very sure that we'll be coming to resolutions that could hopefully be made public at some point very shortly on how we'll proceed in those sections as well. But today's is another great news on the progress that we're making, and we'll continue to have that moving forward as well.
This will be the last reporter.
Hi, Orphim Songa from Radio Canada. So my first question is, Northern Ontarians also have big concerns about the Highway 11 and 17. Is there any progress that has been made in the widening of these roads?
Absolutely. Highway 11 and 17 is a very important part of our corridor as well. We will be coming forward in a very short and near future with significant updates with respect to what future plans we have on those two highways. We've already started the 2+1 pilot program. Many of those close to North Bay will see that the tree clearing process has already started on that stretch. But we've made a commitment to do the 2+1 pilot significant, as a Premier mentioned in the last election as well. That planning also continues. On Highway 17, we're looking at concepts of passing lane, truck climbing lanes, to where we have specifically been told there are challenges and issues to make that road safer. So that work is ongoing, and we'll be having more to say on that very shortly in the coming weeks as well.
The second question, there is no specific date on when this will be accomplished, either for Highways 11 and 17 or for this one. So is there any date, or you've not really been clear on the timeline or on how much time it's going to take for Northern Ontarians to actually feel safe on these highways? So can you just elaborate on that?
I'm happy to elaborate. No, thank you for your question, and I understand the question as well. For us, on many of our projects, whether it's a highway project, whether it's a transit project, one of the keys to that is making sure the shovel gets in the ground and that we get the contracts awarded. Today's announcement is that the next big step is that we're going to have the 4 of those 6 sections under heavy construction in the next year. That's important because once we get the shovels in the ground, we can have a bit more certainty around the full scale of timelines. But we're going to work with whoever those contractors are to ensure that we can make as much use of the winter months as well. We're going to use innovative ways to build this highway. The reason, when we talk about the speed and we know the necessity of speed in this project, that is why we have taken the decision to make it into smaller contracts so it can be done quicker, it can be done faster. So everything that we have done whether it's making sure that our planning and design phase is shortened or is working in conjunction with the partners that we will then use to enable the construction, whether it's how we contract out this project to make it shorter timelines. Everything is revolved around how do we deliver the quickest and fastest delivery of this project to keep the people in this community safer on the road. So that is the core of why and how we got here today, and that will continue to guide us as we move forward in delivering this project as efficiently and as quickly as possible. But I maybe just want to give a chance to both my colleagues to say anything on the speed of this as well, that we've all worked together. So either Minister Smith or Pirie can comment on it as well.
Yeah, look, thank you for all the questions. Number one, you mentioned about the tariffs. This is all about sovereignty, and sovereignty means securing supply chains. And securing supply chains means building infrastructure. Highway 69, Highway 11, Highway 17. And the Premier is focused on that. It is a priority to secure our sovereignty. Recently, we had a joint letter to the Federal Ministry of Infrastructure to ensure that he understands that these highways are of national significance. The world's a different place than it was 2 years ago, and it's not getting any easier, as we just saw last weekend. But I'll tell you one thing. Our government is responding to this challenge. We will get this done. Not only will we survive, we will thrive. They are not going to take our critical minerals away from us or anything else that's part of Northern Ontario's heritage. And the Premier's focused on this. Yes, this will get done because it's a national priority. It means that we will retain our sovereignty, and the United States under Trump is not going to take that away from us. These are pivotal moments in our history. These are very important projects that we talked about today and last week as well. They are priorities, and these announcements tell the communities that this is a priority for our government. So, thank you.
Yeah, just a final comment, and would certainly reiterate Minister Pirie's points and passion around sovereignty and the ability to move our resources in our country and be in control of our economy, but also to Minister Sarkaria's point around safety and the work that we're doing on highways throughout Northern Ontario. As I said in my comments earlier, there are a lot of people that travel this section of Highway 69 for various reasons at any given day, at any given time. And the question that people in my riding ask me is, when are you going to get started on widening those 4 lanes? That answer has come today. God bless you, press, for asking when it's going to be done. The important thing is we're getting started. We put a timeline around that. We put a timeline around the project here with the rail line. And I think people in this area and anyone that travels this highway corridor is going to be and should be excited about this news today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That concludes today's press conference.